We'll call this regular meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Goose Creek CISD to order. The time is 6:02. Oh, sorry. Ms. Barat-Timms, was the meeting properly posted?
Yes, it was.
And do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Dr. O'Brien.
Hey, good evening, President Guy, trustees, and Dr. O'Brien. We will begin the opening ceremonies with a prayer led by President Guy. Everyone, please rise.
Lord, thank you for getting everyone here safely tonight, and thank you for the many blessings you have provided each of us. Please guide our decision-making tonight as we make decisions that will impact the students in our district and the entire community. Please bless the students, staff, and families in our district as the new school year is getting underway. May we all be refreshed and ready to embrace whatever adventures this year holds. And finally, please get us all home safely after the meeting. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Okay, thank you, President Guy. The opening exercises will be provided by students from San Jacinto Elementary School. The Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and the Texas flag will be recited by Julian Gerst and Aubriana Garza.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. The choir students will be singing the songs entitled "The Farmer Plants the Seeds" and "Growing Smart." Names of the students performing are Nicholas de la Cruz Guerrero, Madeline Garcia, Julian Gerst, Jocelyn Gonzalez, Itiano Granado Lerma, Florentino Juarez, Erilyn Grace Mora, Olivia Grace Sandoval, Alexius Misal Valdivina, Alexios Valenzuela, and Elicio Velida. Students are under the direction of music teacher Mr. Danny Meja and principal Mr. Luis Munoz.
How are you? It's so good to see you. Be happy because we're all here together again. Cha cha cha! Let's go to the garden and play with the
And do we have any parents or family members in the audience that would stand so we can give you a little applause?
Okay, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to the principal of Highlands Elementary, Ms. Blanca Capetillo.
Good evening. Thank you so much. I'd like to present some people that are here with us. I am here with Denise Smith. She is our Highlands Rotary president, so she can make her way up here. And member Jennifer King. And then my staff supporting, we have Ms. Lisa Gotro, our assistant principal, and my campus student success specialist, Ms. Lovett. So we are here tonight, board, Dr. O'Brien. We're very blessed that our Highlands Rotary is our partner in education over 15 years. So at the beginning of the school year, we got together and our partner said, what does Highlands Elementary need? Actually, at the end of last year. And one of the projects that we proposed was doing an outdoor classroom. So today we are here to let the board know and need your approval to receive a donation from our Highlands Rotary for $20,000. They are purchasing, I know, it's amazing. I'm going to proclaim too, hopefully we'll be Rotary of the Year. You hear that? $20,000 to support the building of an outdoor classroom. And this was funded through Rotary, I believe, International. They applied for a grant. And we're very blessed that they are here today, and we hope that you do approve that donation that is being given to our campus at Highlands Elementary. If you don't know where that's at, it's 77562. It's a great community, so please come visit us anytime to see all the great things that are happening on our campus, okay?
And approve a donation. Are there any other Highlands Rotarians in the room? Don't why don't you come over to the middle? Wouldn't take the deposit. We're off to a good start tonight, a donation from a partner. And then prior to that, the children that sang from San Jacinto Elementary, they were singing about another gift that was received by our partner in education, ExxonMobil, for a community garden there on the campus of San Jacinto Elementary. So I got to see the groundbreaking or the ribbon cutting of that for those same children sang to a group of parents there in the audience on the campus, and then they're here again tonight. That was really exciting. So, President Guy, I don't know. Can we top that?
I don't know. We shall see. I think we are to the point of the agenda where we have citizens' participation. Do we have anybody signed up to speak? Okay. So citizens' participation is the time that the board will hear public concerns or public comments from those who've properly signed up to address the board. At a regular board meeting, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to open session items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Each speaker is reminded that he or she is limited in his or her presentation to a maximum of 3 minutes, which can be and that he or she should respect confidentiality concerns and refrain from attacking the personal character of any individual student, staff member, or board member in addressing concerns or comments. Pursuant to state law and board policy BE legal, the board cannot consider or take action on concerns at this meeting unless they pertain to an item on the posted agenda for this meeting. Any deliberation or decision on an item that is not posted for consideration at this meeting shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on the agenda of a future meeting. And Ms. Barat-Timms will take the, yes, we'll time. And I don't have the name
Mr.
of
Minson, you can come on up. If you'll
Sorry.
press when you're ready to talk, Ms. Barat-Timms will begin the clock, and you just need to press the button so your light turns green there on your microphone.
That's okay.
Okay.
Just a reminder that you give me 30 seconds before my end of the time, so if I'm not complete with the background, I can jump to the proposal. I'll try to speak coherently, but try to get through it. All right. We'll start. Dr. O'Brien, President Guy, and board members, your immediate attention and action are required to ensure an 8-year-old GCCISD commitment to replace the practice facilities for student athletes with special needs, or Special Olympics as it's sometimes called. The student athletic program for special needs includes over 10 sports. During the last 30 years, it is arguably the most successful of all GCCISD
30 seconds.
student athletic programs, having continuously competed and won at the state, area, national, and international competitions. Their last national competition in Florida drew over 5,000 athletes from all 30 states and Caribbean islands. We won the Bronze Award. In the 2013 bond election, a mistake was made. A new elementary school, Alamo, was approved, with the old elementary being repurposed as an expansion of the Stewart Career Center. Due to a lack of due diligence, the district did not realize the old elementary school not only housed an elementary school, but also the practice facilities for student athletes with special needs. These facilities included a gym, specially designed locker rooms and bathrooms, practice fields, storage facilities, and offices. These facilities were unique in the district, as the Alamo facility had originally been built with bond money to house special needs students, and later with hundreds of hours of volunteer projects to improve it. Upon realizing the oversight, and after an outcry by frustrated coaches and parents, the district held a meeting led by the acting superintendent and associate district athletic director at SFA Elementary. In that meeting, the oversight was confirmed with a commitment by the superintendent to 1, immediately provide temporary facilities with trailers to store equipment and allow athletes changing rooms, and 2, develop plans for a permanent practice facility. The district explained that because the bond had already been completed, the permanent replacement practice would have to wait for the next bond election. This meeting was reported in the Baytown Sun. 2 years ago, after a parent presentation at a school board meeting, Howard Sampson asked the district to report on the progress to replace the practice facility. The district since that time has met with the special needs coaches and developed a very detailed replacement plan. These plans were shared with the athletes and parents, who were very excited to see the district was keeping its commitment to atone for the previous misstep.
30.
Because of last year's bond board meeting, parents and community members are now asking why the GCCISD can spend $10 million on a new football building at Stalwart Stadium, while students have no permanent practice fields after more than 8 years. I'm asking you to rectify this injustice to our special needs athletes. If this was a practice facility of any other student-athlete program, it would have already been corrected. We should never promote a two-tier student system for our student-athletes. Please keep the promise you made to these athletes 8 years ago
Time.
and provide a practice facility for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Minson.
Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. So it looks like we're going to take these two separately. So we have the September 11th board meeting minutes first.
Move we approve the September 11th regular board meeting minutes as written.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Clem, a second by Ms. Barat-Timms. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, 3, 4. So I see 5, 4. Any against? Abstentions? 1 abstention. The September 19th special board meeting is next. We have a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the second.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Sampson and a second by Mr. Clem. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. So 4, 4. Any opposed? Any abstentions? 2 abstentions. Motion passes for both of those.
All right, we are excited to begin the superintendent's report this evening with a student engagement through advancement academics and retention presentation. Dr. Moreno from Lee College will be joining us for this presentation this evening. We're excited to bring some exciting data with some promising results before the board this evening.
Okay, good afternoon, President Tiffany Guy. I got it right this time. And Board of Trustees. So happy to be here. We have a great team, and also want to celebrate that we have Dr. Moreno with us from Lee College to share these scores that we'll be hoping everybody's going to be really happy about.
So I just went back a slide. I do want to honor, we have 2 members that aren't able to be with us tonight that are part of this presentation. We have Dr. Ellen Akers and Anna Espinoza that weren't able to make it. Then I am Kim Fox, Director of Counseling in College and Career. I'd also like to introduce our new Coordinator of Advanced Academics.
Hi, I'm Shannon Ramirez, and I am the new Coordinator of Advanced Academics.
All right, so in Dr. Akers' absence, I'm here to speak on some of the advanced academic opportunities we have in Goose Creek. We're very proud to offer many opportunities for our kiddos. So if you see this first graphic here, we just want to show you how some of them do overlap. We do have AP courses in Goose Creek. We have a partnership with UT for UT on-ramps, and we have a very healthy dual credit program that we're here to share with you tonight.
All right, so we'll start with the AP data. Yes, you should have a packet of AP data that was provided to you. All right, so in 22-23, we did have 1,231 assessments that were taken in Goose Creek. GCM had 233 of those. Impact had 33 assessments. Lee had 623, and Sterling had 426. The number of students that were enrolled in at least one AP course in 22-23 was 873 students. This year for 23-24, right now we have 1,455 seats and 981 unique student enrollments in those courses. And this past year, we did have 44 AP scholars. So the percentage of exams with scores of 3, 4, and 5 are broken down for you on the slide by campus. And it is also broken down on an individual page on your packet for each campus as well. We did increase student outcomes by 40% in our 3D art and design, biology, English language, English literature, European history, French, human geography, government history, and world history. So some things that we have initiated this year. I did convene an advanced academics steering committee. We held our first meeting in September, and we will be holding those meetings quarterly. What the committee consists of are teachers, campus and district administrators. In that meeting, we discussed and approved taking 2 AP Capstone pilot campuses. So we will have AP Capstone at Impact and Sterling for the 24-25 school year. And after that year, we will host Capstone and Research, because AP Research is Capstone as a prerequisite to that course. We are also going to have a 5-year strategic plan. We do have a subcommittee for that. That is already in place, and we will be working towards that so that we can get that information to you in the future. Also, we do have supports in place. So we have our NIMSY grant, which provides curriculum and guidance for students and teachers. We will have advanced academics PLC days this school year. And we are beginning the process of an AP program review with a consulting firm. So they will be able to look at that data and assess the program for us. We also are implementing administrator training for AP classrooms and what that should look like when they go in to look at those courses, where the rigor should be compared to where it might be. And we will also have student test prep weekends in April before our AP testing in May. So we'll move on to on-ramps. And in 22-23, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, do you have any questions?
I don't think I do right now.
Okay.
Just what does the test prep weekend look like?
So what we're going to do is we are going to look at the courses that students need the most support in, and we're going to take the teachers with the highest success rate on those exams and ask them to come to a campus on the weekend and prep the students to be successful on those exams. We'll do 4 weekends before the testing begins so that we can ensure that our students are more successful this year. Okay, so our on-ramps data is UT Austin college credit at the end of the school year. Last year, we had 261 individual students and 418 course enrollments for on-ramps. And our data for on-ramps is on the slide. And as you can see, we had students that were eligible for credit. So 98% of our chemistry, 72% of our college algebra, 85% of our computer science, 88 physics, classroom and lab, and 71% of our pre-cal students were eligible for UT credit. This is 22-23. The on-ramps data is the UT Austin credit. So they take a year-long course, and the first semester is high school credit, and the second semester they're eligible for college credit, and those were the percentages of students that were eligible for the college credit.
Basically takes a course that would be a semester and stretches it over the whole year. And you also have dual grades going on. You have high school grades, and then they have tests that they take during the semester for on-ramps, and that the test determine the college grade. So I could have an A on the high school side, and then it could be have a B or even a C on the college side, depending on how I do on my test. I think there's actually 5 exams.
Kind of like STAR testing.
Sort of.
No, because they have like 5 opportunities, not one. Not one.
And the students have like a UT professor and the high school teacher to support them.
So now on to some more fun. So when we started the presentation, we talked about the many offerings that we have in Goose Creek. But with that, we're going to focus on dual credit next. So in fall, our dual credit enrollment, 25% of all of our kiddos in Goose Creek at the high schools are enrolled in some type of dual credit course. So along the bottom, you can see our high schools. And I just like to point out that there are differences because of some of the specialized programs at our different high schools, but we really are proud of the efforts and the results you'll see through the next slides.
I also want to highlight, if you look at Peter E. Highlands, we're very excited about those 16 kids because that's not happened before. But I was very excited to announce at Executive Council this morning that we have a group from Peter Highlands that will be starting at the McNair Center for a program over there in the spring.
Are these unique students or number of courses you're taking on this slide?
So let me show you the next slide. I love it when you think ahead before my slide pops up. Okay. So when you look at our historic enrollment, 74% over the last 5 years is the increase in a 5-year range. I do believe, and I want to honor the commitment of some of the people in this room to make that happen. But to say in 5 years we've had a 74% increase is phenomenal. So if you look across the bottom, you can see in 2019 where our dual credit numbers were and now where we've grown to. I do want to also share with you on 22-23, you do see a small dip. Some of the state requirements for testing changed during that year. And so we're happy to see that we've rebounded quickly, but that was some of the COVID testing allowances that they had there. So I wanted to share that. So we talked about the increase over 5 years. So our seat count this year is 3,542 in the fall. And that's across all of our campuses, which is a 3% increase from last year. And again, Ms. Jackson pointed out Peter E. Highland, we're happy for the leadership of that campus to also be bringing on opportunities for our kiddos at Peter E. Highland. And Dr. Times?
Dr. Times, you want to stand up so we can acknowledge you?
Also on that same slide, we would just like to acknowledge the commitment from all of our campuses to make that successful. GCM with over 1,000 seats, Impact with almost 800, Robert E. Lee with 544, Ross S. Sterling 371, and Stuart Kerr Tech with 802. These are tremendous numbers, and we're really proud of our campuses. So when we talk about our campuses and how we make this success happen, we do depend very heavily on our Lee College partners. And so this slide is specific to our Lee College partnership. We do have our own Goose Creek teacher personnel that are vetted to be instructors. And so this graph is letting you know on each of those campuses how many of our people are teaching college classes, just to celebrate that opportunity. And HR does support us with that, with position postings so that we can continue to recruit folks in this capacity. But we wanted to let you know that we have many of our people teaching college classes.
And with that being said, for some of our new board members, I want to make sure that you understand that when we have our own people teaching those courses, they're receiving their full paycheck here, but they also receive a stipend from Lee College, depending on the amount of students in their class. So if I'm teaching 7 sections of English, that could be about $10,000 a semester. So it's really, and that also goes toward their TRS. So it's a great incentive for our teachers that become degreed with a master's degree in their content area.
So again, when we say what we offer on our campuses, it's challenging, and putting little people in classes and saying, now you're taking college, we do have supports within the district. Some examples are our AVID program with our AVID tutors, many of the things also with our college and career counselors and people within the campus to say, hey, you're taking a college class, but we're also supporting you along the way. Our curriculum and instruction department meets with campuses each grading reporting period. Lee College supplies us with grades, and we follow up immediately. Is it a textbook issue? Is it a Blackboard issue? Is it a kid issue? Is it anything? And we try to jump in as quickly as possible to support our academic deans and our teachers. And so I do believe that that is helping to provide additional success for our kids. So if you take a look at this, our A, B, and C, which is our pass rate for each of the schools, we do unfortunately have occasional withdrawals that we suggest for various reasons, and then sometimes it's not the best fit or there's a challenge within their life. But we do see some high success rates, and we're really proud of our students and the supports that we provide in those.
When they withdraw, does that stay on their college thing?
So, Mr. Renteria, these are big boy and big girl classes. It does stick, and we do give them that information in their pre-sessions, as well as we have an advising protocol should they be considered for a drop. So we give the parent and the student information on the process, as well as future implications for their financial aid. And it's a very specific document, so a parent is not caught off guard, and the student is fully aware of how they could potentially impact their future. Yeah. And then sometimes with that same conversation, it may be that they then get reignited to start doing a little more work, and then they pull it out. So we do work with them, and that's why we're fortunate that Lee College provides us those grades along the way. That doesn't happen everywhere, but we're really happy that we are able to do that, because then we can get involved a little earlier.
So these students that are enrolled, are they AP students or a mix of regular students?
I love that you asked that, because I think that's a misconception. Every student's able to take dual credit. Sometimes our academic middle students with some supports, some programs such as AVID or tutorials can be very successful, those academic middle kids. And sometimes you find little Johnny on the side and you help reinforce and give him an opportunity, and then they can take off from there. We take everybody.
But I do want to clarify this. In order to take the college classes, you have to meet the requirement to take them. So for our courses like English, math, those courses, you have to pass the TSIA. So that could be a barrier. So if somebody's not in there, it may be that we're working to get them ready so they can pass that test to be able to take. Whereas with AP, you just have to meet the course requirement before it.
Well, that's good.
So there's still a place.
Some of them high school students, they don't realize that college is another level, and they don't baby you over there. So
They do not.
I ran into that problem myself. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I would like for Dr. Moreno to share, because initially this partnership, 20 years ago, it wasn't as receptive, and the professors really adapted a new attitude towards high school students. You want to talk about that just briefly?
Funny that he said that, huh? It's your slide.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about the timeline. This month, I have the honor of being at Lee College for 23 years. And just in case anybody was wondering, I did start very young, like at 12, so I don't look like it. I've been there for 23 years. Just kidding.
You need to consider moving up and coming to GCCISD.
Thank you. I appreciate I have your vote. But to give you a little bit of background information, is specifically about our partnership. Between 2000 and 2007, I'm not sure if any of you knew this, but we used to have Lee College counselors in the high schools. I being one of them, in 2003, I was at Sterling High School as a Lee College counselor. We moved away from hiring counselors and moved into advisors. We added an additional advisor and put them at GCM, but due to staffing shortages, we no longer had those advisors at the high school, and essentially we're not able to, continue on with that partnership in that way. Well, let's fast forward to 2013-ish. We had something called the Gulf Coast Partners Achieving Student Success, GCPASS. Essentially, the purpose of GCPASS was to create a college-going culture within the high school space. From this collaborative work, that's when I got to work really directly with both Susan and Kim. And Kim and I worked a lot on, because she was at Lee High School, worked a lot on creating that college-going culture, and what does that look like? Because back then, dual credit wasn't nearly as exploded as it is now, or even acknowledged by any means as how it is in the state, nationally, everywhere. So we're really grateful to that. From that partnership, we created something called college transition specialist, where they would go in and do TSIA testing, that kind of stuff, similar to what we're about to talk about, as well as I believe your CCRCs evolved from that. The college career readiness counselors evolved from that collaborative partnership, because they saw the need from both the IHE side and the ISD side. So we're going to fast forward even more, and we're going to go to 2020, coming out of COVID, 2021, I became executive director of school and college partnerships in 2021. I had the privilege of being in front of all of you. I believe it was May of 2021 where we acknowledged the partnership and the direction that we were going. And so from there, we talked about our Lee College shared advisors and coordinators. And essentially, these are co-funded by you all and Lee College as well, where we embedded these these advisors and this coordinator within the high school so that they have direct access, not just to our stuff and on the college side of it, but also to the high school side of it as well. And so during that time frame, we were able to really look at, the importance of advising and taking that advising piece off of the high school counselors and really looking at how can we do it from the college level. And so it's been, I feel like, a great success. We also redesigned the TLL Temple Foundation grant, assisted with the creation of the program pathway planners aligning high school endorsements and academies to college pathways. So this is a complete redesign of dual credit as a purposeful pathway to college and career opportunities. So what does that mean? That means that I have a pathway, you have an endorsement. How are we going to have IHE Speak and ISD Speak come together and really look at the alignment of the dual credit classes in terms of what it means for them in the future, not just in high school. So we did a lot of collaborative work together on in that partnership, a lot of Zoom meetings and during that time frame, only because it was COVID-ish. Y'all came back, we were trying to figure it out. So that's essentially what happened. But out of that has came out top researchers are really coming to me and asking me for that pathway planner. And so it's really awesome how it's become nationally known and recognized in our partnerships. And we are sought out often, which we'll talk about here shortly. And lastly, we talked about the UT Dana Center Mathways. This essentially was looking at, it's also the TLL Temple Grant, where we looked at our maths. Everybody assumes that college algebra is the math that you should put every high school student in, or any student actually on our side of it. That's not true. It depends on which route they're going to go, endorsement to pathway. So if you're a liberal arts major, do I really need college algebra? Negative. We're looking at more like your math 1342, which is your statistics, or even math 1332, which is your contemporary mathematics. And so it was really looking at how is Goose Creek's your curriculum people, your math curriculum people, and Dr. Akers and Kim really coming in and trying to work with our math faculty and aligning that to better serve students, because we saw a lot of students just floundering in that college algebra. And so we really wanted to make a better option. And so more recently, we are recognized nationally and at the state level, showcasing our partnership. In fact, I got an email today. I happened to sign up for a PTech webinar just to see what's going on in PTech, and they emailed myself and Jordan Salazar, who is a shared a dual credit advisor, to be on the panel tomorrow. So we're excited because everybody knows about our good partnership that we have with Goose Creek. So I'm really excited about that.
Algebra's no game. Them left brain people can't handle it.
Yeah, well, I didn't have to take it, so I'm good. With the math? The math, because it was more STEM focused. It wasn't really anything. So for example, I got my bachelor's and master's in social work. I never took college algebra. I took contemporary mathematics, or math for liberal arts, at UT Austin. So I didn't have to take college algebra, thank God. I don't know if I'd ever get out of it, to be honest. But I mean, there's just no need for it because I wasn't going for a science major. Does that make sense? And so that was a lot of the alignment.
It's a combination of both, though, preparation and
true.
Not knowing that kind of thing. It's a different level when them students come up to take algebra and trigonometry. It's a whole different world for them when they see they really got to spend every weekend at the math lab trying to learn these formulas.
And you're never going to use it again.
It ain't a game.
Yeah.
It's real. But they're not just students. There are adult people that can't pass that stuff.
So that alignment did go into our general population as well. So just so you're aware.
That ended up working in GCCISD, because I know who they are, but I won't mention no names. Just ask me later, I'll tell you that.
And that Mathways was a statewide thing, and we were showcased as a partnership across the state of Texas.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, we did some really good work with the Dana Center, and they really guided that. And it was really an aha for myself as well, because you always hear, algebra, college algebra. And even the high-end STEM programs, they're having to test out of algebra. They have to take math pre-test. They go straight into pre-cal and cal.
So before we go on to the next slide, I did forget something. So can you go back real quick? I forgot to mention the biggest piece of it, right? During that time, the Community College Research Center from Columbia University reached out to us at Lee College, requesting to showcase our dual credit growth and partnership in their research. So top research in the field visited our campuses highlighting the partnership on the national level. We decided to go on ahead and go with that, and so we reached out to Ms. Jackson, who would speak further on the collaboration.
Yeah, so they did come out, worked with both of us, and we're both, I think, presenting nationally across the board. We've got people, we've had 60 some odd tours last year. Some of those tours were about dual credit as well. People like Prosper and different, areas, Temple, are coming to find out, how are you making this work? Because on our end, it was a little different than Lee College. They looked at the number of students that graduated in 2020 from 2019, from GCM, and they followed them to check and see how many of them matriculated actually in to that four-year university and finished their degree. And we had an anomaly of students that were first gen or students of color that had completed that at a high national level. And so that really is an impact and a testament to the partnership.
Definitely. Thank you.
So on the innovation side, she talked to you about program pathways. And so I wanted to just add in on what we do with shared advisors is not something that everybody has done. It's something we get asked about a lot. The shared coordinator as well that she talked about, and the pathway. All of that is things that contributed to the growth. And so when we started with our chapter for the Texas chapter of dual credit, one of the things that I get asked for are those pathways from so many not higher ed, but from the secondary. How are y'all doing this? How are you aligning? And so just got asked yesterday by superintendent, could you come share that? So it's really exciting. People around us are wanting to follow the model that we have.
So on the national and state partnership presentations, the first one, I had the privilege to co-present with Dr. Nancy Oriana, who is the former Impact Early College High School, and we actually, counselor, and we presented at the K-12 Partnership Institute, hosted by Achieving the Dream. Achieving the Dream is a big deal for us in the community college level. So we really had the privilege of presenting. During that presentation, I will say a lot of people raised their hands and asked questions on how do y'all work with your school districts? Like, our school district doesn't want to listen to us. And so we got to have a really good conversation about that. And I didn't realize that didn't happen because it was so easy for us. It was just kind of odd. But we did have a great turnout to talk about how our partnership works when we have tandem college advising and high school counseling. Kim, you want to talk about the next one?
Sure. We participated in something at Lamar University with UT Dana Center, specifically to math. But when they ask us to speak, again, I'm going to keep echoing the same thing. It's really the partnership. How do you get your IHE and ISEP to start talking the same language? And then how do you embed that? So currently this year, college algebra, like our example earlier, is not the only thing that we offer. We offer an array of maths that are appropriate for those pathways. And that is what we were celebrated with the UT Dana Center on.
And so TAC, the Texas Association of Community Colleges, that's like the local state level, the Texas Success Center asked us to talk about our pathways. So we literally had to do it. You cannot do a presentation. Everything had to do just paper. So we brought papers and we worked with people on dry erase boards and on sticky Post-its on how to create these pathways. And they were literally wrapping their minds around how they were going to integrate their dual credit into endorsements and going back to their ISDs and getting tips on how to talk to them about that. So then Achieving the Dream reached out to me earlier this April asking for me to talk about our partnerships again because we had presented in Portland. And then immediately following that, Anna Espinoza and I were asked by John Fink, who is a top researcher in the nation for the Community College Research Center, to do a deep partnership K-12 conversation about partnerships. And so we were really excited to come on that webinar. It was a really big deal. And if you want the link, we are more than happy to share that with you because it was a really great conversation.
So on the Community College Research Center, John Fink that they were talking about is in the process of finalizing a national paper that will come out in October. Well, it is October.
Yeah.
To release at the national conference, and he'll start off with that. So that paper will be featuring Goose Creek and Lee College. So we'll be happy to share that when that comes out as well. And then we've also presented at the superintendent's conference at TASA midwinter as a team. And so from that, we had a lot of people reach out and get some extra assistance there. So this is moving forward. Y'all knew that we chaptered last year, and we're now in the process of getting more information. One of the requirements is that we will be hosting we have to host some kind of professional development for the state level. So we're working on that. We sent that out. We had, I was very excited. We ended up having about 50 replies on what we were looking at as a group of what kind of professional development. We would like to host that here. It used to be so many miles from the airport. Well, the Hyatt Regency does hit that. So if we can do that, that's one of the things we would like to host the Texas State Conference for next school year. This is the planning year at the Hyatt Regency. So that's what we're working on at this time.
So it'll be Texas Giant Con?
Well, I think they're going to make us call it the Texas Dual Credit Alliance.
Nice try. Nice try.
But we can say we're growing giants through dual credit. So thank y'all. That concludes. Is there any question over dual credit before I move to our next dropout prevention one?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say I think that we're heading the right direction. That sounded really positive in the direction we're going. And the increase in enrollment and the working together partnership thing, all of it. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Yes. I also want to say thank you, and I appreciate what you're all doing for our advanced academics. And I really appreciate the focus on AP because I've been talking about it for a long time, and I'm hearing even from the campuses that you are digging in more. So I appreciate that.
Quick question. Back on increased student outcomes, there was, it said French language and culture, and it had European history. Is that pertaining to some classes or a dual credit with Lee College, or? It's way back. Okay.
So at the end of the year in May, these students take an AP exam, and if they score a 3, 4, or 5 on that AP exam, they are eligible for college credit. So it is a way to earn college credit, but it is not dual credit.
Okay. So they can take French language, European history?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you. And next up for Superintendent's Report, we have dropout prevention. Ms. Carrie Smith has joined the team. Thank you, Dr. Moreno.
Good evening. So our first focus is on our L98 meetings, which L98 stands for our dropouts. So we started our weekly meetings the week after school started on August the 23rd.
What does L98 stand for?
Dropouts.
Oh, dropouts.
So it's a code that's put in the system when they do not return.
But I think you need to know it doesn't necessarily mean I dropped out of school. It could mean that I moved out of state and we can't find them.
Okay.
Which is
they were a no-show or...
Right.
Or they're at another school and they just haven't finished their paperwork there.
So we began on August the 23rd with our weekly meetings. We had every Wednesday, we met with all the junior highs and high school principals and their attendance clerks. We ran a weekly report with all of the names of those students, and we worked every week with a comprehensive district support. We had our counseling department, our SEL, CIS, SPED, 504, PEAMS, bilingual, and our truancy department. And everyone met every week, and we went through that list of students. And we had home visits. We had phone calls. We were calling the districts to get verification of enrollment. We were knocking on neighbors' doors to say, did you see them? Well, they said they were going to Florida. Well, do you have a phone number or a forwarding address? No, sorry. But we exhausted every possible avenue that we could to track down these students. Part of that is our vertically aligned feeder pattern system. We redesigned our truancy department last year, which we'll be introducing shortly. and that is aligned with our feeder patterns. So we have a truancy specialist aligned to each of the feeder patterns to assist with our elementary, junior high, and high schools. And then, of course, our ongoing outreach and supports. Once we get done with this month of tracking down these students, from there we proceed to run that report the last day of every month. That report is then sent to our truancy department and those campuses, and they again work to try to recover those students and track them down so at the end of the year we don't have a monstrous number.
So if you'll take a look where we started, 591, I picked Carrie up off the floor because that is a huge number and we were ready to tackle the day. So truly one of the pillars that you saw in the last slide was talking about comprehensive support. We bring these teams together and we say, what do you need? Is it bilingual support? Is it truancy support? Is it special ed support? Everybody's there at the table to remove barriers. And so we feel very proud of the success of our team. We went from 591, and you see as of the 27th, we were down to 80 total district-wide. So we are definitely celebrating that number. So you see these are our junior high numbers where each campus started at our first meeting and how many they were able to get it down to by the 27th. And so celebrating Baytown Junior with 0, Cedar Bayou with just 1, EF Green at 3, Gentry with 1, Highlands Junior with 4, and Horseman with 1. Our junior highs did a great job connecting and working with their families to get them back to school or connected to the school they needed to go to. This is our high school data. So Lee High School, starting with 89, got theirs down to 15. Sterling also at 15. Petery Highland, again, that's a very unique group, but we are still applauding that they were able to get theirs down to 7. Goose Creek Memorial starting with 135 down to 28. Impact 0, Stewart 0. Our virtual academy also at 0. And of course, our Point Alternative, again, a unique campus, down to 4. And so I truly believe that it's the combined effort of our team to get those kiddos reconnected.
And we should say that when we had these weekly meetings, that it was done by feeder patterns. Mm-hmm. So we had the 2 junior highs meeting up with the high school principal. Therefore, if you had siblings, you were able to connect back so that everybody was on the same page. Or if maybe the sibling was in school at the junior high, then we were talking to that sibling and saying, okay, wait, where's Big Brother? Oh, well, he moved out. Oh, okay, do you know where? And to try to track down. So that was the collaboration as well. And now I would like to introduce our truancy department. So I'd like to start. First of all, we relocated our truancy department last year to the Petery Highland Center. So I'd like to acknowledge Dr. Times.
Make them stand up. Come on.
Yes,
make them stand
up.
We met her once.
Yes. So we relocated to Petery Highland. Fitting since her campus obviously adheres to our students who are struggling. And then moving forward, Kim Mendenhall is the person that holds the truancy department together. Kim, if you will stand up. Okay.
I went to school with her.
And Keely Himsel, she is our case manager. She is a monster on the phone. That's all I will tell you. She will hit redial and count until somebody answers and gets a VOE at the end, no matter what.
And she takes care of business during the meetings,
yes.
too. Oh, my
yes.
goodness.
She was the one that kept all of our notes for 591 students. Our GCM feeder pattern, along with Petery Highland, is Marshall Land.
I know Big Marshall. I was him.
And our RSS feeder pattern, along with Point Alternative, is Carrie Fry. And unfortunately, Bobby Locke could not be with us, but he is our REL feeder pattern, along with Stuart Takura Tech and Impact Early College. And so they assist us, as we said, with our feeder pattern campuses and attendance, our truancy. They also work with our McKinney-Vento and our foster care students, and they attend our SST meetings on the campuses on a regular basis. And we actually will start those first 6 weeks, obviously, is focusing on our truancy or retraining our students that were no-shows. So we will actually start our first meeting on Wednesday, and I meet with them once a month. and we print out our 10-plus students who have 10 or more absences, and they will start making home visits and phone calls and talking to those students to encourage them as to why their attendance is not where.
Thank y'all for what you do.
Yes, ma'am, because in Rahway, that's that number that we hit after they've received their warning letters. We've done in a parent conference. We've done an attendance contract. So at that point, they're going to jeopardize losing credit for their classes. So we definitely want to focus on why.
So does student parents still go to Peter E. Highland?
Yes.
Is that where they go?
Yes. Yes.
Just curious.
The daycare is
They used
still
to
alive and
be
well.
there back in the day. I didn't know if they were still.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. In fact, one of our students that we recovered actually had just had a baby. And so we were able to get her back in. Her baby was, she came and did a tour of the daycare and got herself enrolled in the same day.
That was what I was going to do. They still have a daycare?
Yes. Yes.
But also, Mr. Renteria, it's really based on what their family needs are. That doesn't automatically mean that they go there, but we have opportunities should they wish to.
And our attendance rates, I wanted to highlight that this year, we are right now in August. We were right where we were at last year at 95.14%. And in September, we were sitting at 94.36%. So pretty close to where we were this time last year. And our enrollment numbers. So in 22-23, we had 24,318 students. As of today, when we did this was as of the 20th, but as of this morning, we're actually at 24,161 students. So we've enrolled 10 students in the last week, and so we're about 182 students down from where we were last year. And it's kind of spread out, as you can see. At the elementary, we were at 11,386 last year. We're at 311 this year. Last year, we were at 5544. This year, we're at 5306 at the junior high. And at the high school, we were at 7133, and we're at 7277. And our other populations would account for our JJAP High Point students.
Any questions?
I guess y'all presenting this like this because y'all want to raise. Is that what you're saying?
No. But I do applaud our truancy department because we could not do what we've done without them.
And really, to brag on them, the reason that it looks like our numbers are a little lower is because for every student we find and we remove, then that kid is not sitting there. Because some of those the less we find, it looks like the numbers are inflated. So they've done a great job ensuring we've got some accurate numbers now.
And y'all still doing good, even though Lisa retired? Yeah.
Yes. Yes, with the restructuring last year, It has definitely been a good focus shifting to this pattern that we're doing.
Do y'all still have the program they used to have in the summer where you have going out to the different apartments and kids who have dropped out?
The dropout walk?
Yeah, reach out walk.
No, sir. No, sir. We do this where we focus on, and our truancy department is doing those home visits along with communities in school. And yes.
That's kind of dangerous, ain't it? Especially when you got to go to Northwood and that other subdivision over there.
Our police department is very supportive of any time that they go out.
So what are you saying, that the police department goes with them?
If they need to, yes, sir.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, they will. They will. And they don't cross no trespassing signs.
Well, I was referring more to the apartment complexes where it's open to the public.
Okay, we're going to switch groups on y'all, and our last presentation is our early childhood presentation. So we've got some extra seats up here, so if all my early childhood people can come up.
Rock stars?
Rock stars, no doubt. You'll see.
I just saw Guns N' Roses. I don't know how.
Okay, I've got a rock star team. I figured y'all had heard from your administrators' voices too much at this point, so to break it up a little bit with my rock star teachers. So I'm going to go, Dan, and let you introduce yourself. And I think you.
Well, hopefully you can hear me, but I'm Christy Lackey. I'm the coordinator for early childhood.
I'm Cammie Johnson. I'm the Agriculture and Natural Resources Coordinator for the Early Learning Academy.
Hi, I'm Madison Cates. I'm a left brain teacher at Lyles Early Learning Academy.
I'm Kelsey Rourke. I'm a right brain teacher at Lyles Early Learning Academy.
I'm Kelly Campbell Connor, and I am the movement teacher at Lyles Early Learning Academy.
She does not need a microphone.
And we're very excited to present to you tonight about our Early Learning Academy and some of the good things that have been happening. And we appreciate your support because we do know that how important pre-K is and that 90% of a child's brain development has occurred by the age of 5. So pre-K is vital for our students in building that executive functioning.
All right, we want to start off by celebrating our retention rate in our pre-K teachers. So when we started our program in 21-22, our pilot year, we had 16 teachers. We retained 12 of those. The 4 that left were because they were relocating because of their spouse's jobs, or we did have one that stayed home with a new baby. Last year, we had 50 pre-K teachers. We retained 44 of them. The 6 that left were kind of along the same lines as before, but we did have an 88% retention rate, which we thought was pretty great. So we're not losing teachers for the most part. They want to stay. They're happy, right? And they are enjoying being a part of this program. This year we have 61 pre-K teachers, and we're going to keep all of them, hopefully.
So as you know, we have all of our pre-K students have 2 teachers. They have a left brain teacher and a right brain teacher, and then they have their movement teacher. So Ms. Rourke and Ms. Madison Cates are both going to talk about left brain and then right brain, and then Kelly Campbell Connor is going to talk about the movement. So Ms. Cates?
So as I had said, I am a left brain teacher at Lyles Early Learning Academy, and I'm here to talk to you about the way a left brain classroom works and operates. So in the left brain classroom, there are 6 learning areas: language, math, culture, sensorial, practical life, and art appreciation. So if you were to go to these learning areas, you're going to see activities and lessons that are sequential, logical, and are taught with an end goal for our students to meet. Our day is divided up between whole group instruction, or circle time as our students know it, where we are direct teaching concrete concepts in quiet voices and a calm demeanor. Small group instruction, where we are differentiating to target the needs of each individual student. And station exploration, where students are independently working at a station that they choose for the amount of time that they decide on. So it's very interest-led. This allows for our students to develop focus, concentration, and independence. Through peaceful music and dim lighting, the left brain environment itself plays a role in the aid of those skills. Left brain teachers were teaching both from the pre-K standards and the Fueling Brain guidelines, so our students are getting both academic content and instruction over the executive functioning skills. We use hands-on materials to teach these concepts, which are then later reinforced within the right brain classroom.
And that's where I come in. So like I said...
Before you... Okay, I thought left brain was not mathematical, and you mentioned that math was involved in that.
So yes, we are the ones that are direct teaching those skills, or going to be our left brain teachers.
Okay.
So then I'm the right brain teacher, and so in a right brain classroom, we use the thematic environment as our 3rd teacher. So there's a classroom teacher, a paraprofessional, and then the theme basically in every single classroom. And one of our main goals is to make sure we get our students excited about learning. So we lean into the students' curiosities about what they're observing and experiencing within these themes, and we build on that to develop our projects and our activities in a right brain room. We do daily read-alouds where we reinforce the literacy and even the math skills that are being taught in the left brain class. That's where we introduce new vocabulary, and we also get our really good practice at our executive functioning skills during that time as well. Students will use journals. They use it to record their learning throughout the day or to jot down ideas or questioning. Now, this looks different for 4-year-olds than you might see in like a high school external, but in their brain it means something, and that's what matters. So in addition to these student-led learning activities, we have 6 main areas in our room that they can explore during open exploration time. We have a literacy and writing area, art expression, dramatic play, construction, STEM, and sensory areas. And while students are openly exploring these areas in a right brain room, you'll hear them being social and collaborating with their peers and the adults in the room. And this is when they build their vocabulary, when they take what they've been direct taught in their left brain class, excuse me, and implement it into new learning.
Somebody give her some water.
This is where their creativity is stimulated and their imagination grows. And this is how we build a respectful learning environment for our giants.
Yeah. So let me go back to her. Was this all is in pre-K 4th grade, 4 years old, you said? That's when it starts? 4 years old.
4.
Yes, they're all 4. They have.
There you go. Yeah.
I don't need this.
You're like me. You don't need a mic, right?
All right, so this is where I come in also. So if you were to peruse the hallways at 203 West Cedar Bow, Lynchburg, you would find movement at the Lyles Early Learning Academy. You also can happen to go see movement at Pumphrey, San Jacinto, and Hopper Primary. You would be greeted with actively engaged students who are singing their hearts out. You might observe them balancing on balance cups or galloping and whinnying like horses with scarves as our tails. That is just the tip of the iceberg for movement. In my 23 years of teaching, content has always been held at my highest regard. My current position allows me to incorporate academic vocabulary to help grow our littlest giants. Words like decadent, persevere, conundrum, cantankerous, deposit, vicinity, location, inhalation, exhalation, collaborate, and my list goes on and on. They use these words and encourage their peers when collaborating or not giving up when a solution fails. Another positive aspect of movement you would observe is the connection that I build with phonemic awareness, math, and other academic skills. Movement reinforces letters, sounds, alliteration, rhyming, counting forwards and backwards, and my ability to speak basic Spanish phrases to connect with the bilingual students, and also the English spoken allows for strengthening the ESL students and their language acquisition.
Give me an example.
Una mano, otra mano.
There you go.
Manos aquí, no.
Abajo.
Manito, no. Hold on. Manos atrás.
Manos atrás.
Babujas en la boca. Bubbles in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And hands behind your back.
I learned that one.
Okay.
Hey, that's good. That's good. You taught me a word or two.
The picture on the screen depicts one lesson I created in which students had to use gross motor, large motor muscles, which is a pre-K guideline, and ride the tricycle to reinforce the letter T and A, which is the letters that they've been learning in their classroom. Students were allowed to review the words and the sounds of the letter as they were riding. Movement gives the students many opportunities to make connections. All of these great experiences you observed would be in the confines of our hallways. We are working on cognitive flexibility and while making our minds and bodies match. And each 45-minute class is achieved to the fullest potential. Last, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to show you how Lyles Early Learning Academy and movement shines. I will close with my 2 chants or affirmations that I created that our students complete at the beginning of movement and at the end. So this is the first one. As soon as they come in, we pick them up from the classroom and we're in the hallway, and it starts like this. Hello, hello, how are you today? Hello, this is what I'll say. I am smart, I am capable, and I will do my part. I will work, I will listen, I will learn with all my heart. Grow, explorers, grow. So that's the first one. Then when we're done with our lesson, before they do their goodbye song, they have to say, I am a Lyles explorer. My brain grows every day. I come to school to work and play and learn in different ways. Left brain, right brain, and movement too. I am a Lyles explorer. I will astonish you. Grow, explorers, grow.
outreach is really important. We know that our students learn from experiences, and so we know that also it would be hard to bring our pre-K kiddos on 20 field trips a month. So I've been working really hard this year to bring lots of field trips to them. Our list was so long that you should have a complete list in your board packet, as well as our outreach newsletter for the month that highlights some of our outreach. But in this slide right here, you can see some of our outreach partners. We have some deep sea fishing captains, Captain Troy and Taylor, that come and talk to our students about fishing and boat safety and everything that the Gulf Coast has to offer. We also have Dr. Wendy Krause, who is absolutely amazing. She comes and she actually utilizes some of our classroom pets and lets our students listen to their guinea pig's heart, which you can see when they hear it, their faces light up. We also have a very strong partnership with the city of Baytown, from the Wetland Center, the Nature Center, Pirates Bay. I think we have some Pirates Bay people in the audience tonight that do outreach for us. We have, and I'm really proud of our partnership with our city. I think that should be our. Oh, okay. Tiffany, can you stand up, please? Definitely proud to have that partnership. We also have a partnership with the Houston Zoo. We have Councilman Jacob Powell that comes. We have about 18 different outreach partners growing every day that go to all 4 campuses once per rotation. So all of our students get to see all of our outreach partners. Oh, perfect.
And then we also want to share some good news data with you. So the slide you're looking at right now is our current first grade students. So these were the students that were in our pilot year. And this data is from the state. The state gives us information about their kindergarten readiness when they were kindergarten students last year. So as you can see, our pilot year students from 21-22, those current first grade students, they significantly outscored the state and the region in kindergarten readiness. They also outperformed the students who did not attend pre-K. A good side note is the students that did not attend pre-K also outscored the state and the region in kindergarten readiness. So then our current kindergarten students, they're also assessed 6 times on a progressive assessment for their brain. So we're looking at their brain functioning, on their executive functioning, and those executive functionings, you can see from the bar graph, have grown over the year. So they start off with their overall executive functioning down in the low 40s, 30s and 40s. And by the end of the year, everything was over 90% for their executive functioning. So their overall, their cognitive flexibility, their working memory, and their inhibitory control. And then we also have information on our early childhood special education students for last year who are now sitting in kindergarten. Their scores at the beginning of the year on those 3 areas of executive functioning sat in the 20s. By the end of the year, those students all sat in the 50s for their executive functioning by focusing on executive functioning growth for those students.
Okay, so I don't even think that my teachers have seen this slide, but I'm really excited and appreciate my assessment and accountability department putting this together, because James did jump through some hoops to get it really quickly and worked, took a lot of people to work on this. But I want you to see, we've only had 1 year of the current kinder that has all been through our program that you've just heard from these wonderful teachers about what we're doing. And what you will see is I went in and hard-coded these kids. Well, I didn't. I had them hard-coded, so I wouldn't know how to do that. So I wanted to be able to track them and kind of kept it a secret, even from Dr. O'Brien for a little while, because I wanted it to be a real surprise. So how are we really doing? What did we really, really do? So about 50% of our kids are in kinder attended our pre-K program, and we need that to be about 75%. But that means that we've got, of the kids, what you see is FB, yes, means fueling brains. They were in pre-K. FB, no, means that they're a gen ed kid. We looked at those kids, and about 10% of those kids qualified that we didn't reach, but about 40% of these kids are students that do not come from poverty. The Fueling Brains kids all qualified for this program. So I want to make sure y'all get that.
So when it comes to testing literacy overall, you will see that our Fuel and Brains kids were on track at close to 70%, where it was close to 58% for those students that did not. When you look at the math overall, 44% over 36%. And then if you go down to the bottom for letter naming, it's 77% to 60. And then letter sounds at 72 to 50. Blending, 52 to 43. Listening comprehension at 56 to 49. Spelling, 66 to 48. The only area that you will see that we were about the same in is vocabulary. That's huge, and I'm going to explain why. When we talk about math and the letter sounds, that is that left brain room. I've watched it happen in her room. It's like a miracle's going on. But when you talk about vocabulary, that's about academic language. That's right in movement you just heard about. You hit and didn't even know this slide was in here. So when we talk about, Dr. O'Brien has said 100 times, you've heard him, wants to close that gap, that 30 million word gap before it happens. What you see is that the kids who qualified for free and reduced lunch are performing academic vocabulary-wise at the exact same rate minus a percent. So you have closed that academic. So this is the kids sitting in kinder right now, and what you have done as a board is supported a very innovative new approach that I can tell you TexKia is non-biased. It's what every kid in the state of Texas has to take in kinder, and this is how those students performed. So I wanted you to know, and I wanted our teachers to know exactly the hard work that they did, because they took a leap of faith as well. With that, the last thing I want to do is, if you are a principal, an academic coach, a dean, you are in this room, please stand up and be recognized. So we have all 4 campuses here tonight. So thank y'all so much. And Lyle's team, thank you for letting me use your teachers, being so supportive. We didn't put them on the spot or anything. The last thing you want to talk about, the kinder pilot real quick. So we do have a kinder pilot at Carver and at Hopper. So we have 5 teachers at Carver and 7 teachers at Hopper that are learning about executive functioning while they're teaching the district curriculum, so that they're implementing executive functioning instruction while they're teaching the district curriculum. And so we're seeing how that pilot works. Questions?
Where are the chickens?
I told her.
I know all that. Where are the chickens?
Chickens are on order. They should be here before the end of the week.
I'm coming Friday.
No, they might be here by then.
I'm coming Friday.
What campus you coming to?
Hopper
does not have a coop.
I'll surprise you.
Any questions you have for us or the team?
Can we identify where our Fueling Brains kids are by your magic code? Like how many are at what school and where they are?
I'm sure we can. I can get that for you if you want to know.
That would be interesting to know, and kind of do a little tracking on them.
It's easy because we've got them all coded, so we can find out. Yeah,
that would be cool.
Can do that.
I think Mr. Renteria pointed out that left brain, concrete, sequential, direct instruction, right brain, more creative imagination and inhibitory control, about movement and relating the 2 subjects or the 2 methods together. What I wanted to point out is the teachers have specialties, but almost all of that goes on in every classroom every day to some degree. They have their focal points, but to say that the teachers are not aware of one another and what they're doing would be wrong. It's everyone's working together to accommodate this. And Ms. Jackson was right. That one statistic that showed the vocabulary for both Fueling Brains and non-Fueling Brain students was the same. And at first, I'm disappointed. I wanted the Fueling, but we accomplished exactly what we were trying to do. There was a huge gap between those students who show up for kindergarten without pre-K and those that do. So we've closed that gap by having the vocabulary scores parallel to one another, the mirroring one another. So anyway, any other questions from board members? Great presentation. Very proud of you. Thank you.
Whoever has the trophy should pass it to Miss Jackson.
Yes, yes, yes. They're only listed as 2, though.
Mr. Foxworth, you can pass the trophy on to Miss Jackson. Dr. Price has it. Longest presentation ever. Thank you all very much for being here this evening.
Okay, I think we're down to the consent agenda.
Yes, for the consent agenda this evening. See if I can find it. Administration brings to the board for action to approve consent of number A1, donation from Highlands Rotary Club. Action item A2, service agreement amendment with MD Anderson. Number 3, resolution nominating candidate for position to the board of directors of the Chamber County Appraisal District. Number 4, third option to renew CSP for special education equipment, supplies, and related services. 5, final option to extend CSP for HVAC equipment, supplies, and related services. Number 6, second option to extend RFP for disposal of surplus technology items. Number 7, final option to extend RFP for electrical services. Administration brings these consent agenda items to the board for approval.
Is there anything that needs to be pulled?
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second.
Okay. We have a motion by Mr. Clem, a second by Mr. Martinez. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. I see 6-4, no against, so motion passes. Okay, future board agenda items. Board trainings, meetings.
I think we were trained to death, personally. I do. Yeah, y'all went with us, so you know. At a recent meeting, one of my fellow board members requested that we all get to know who the members of the CBAC leading up to the calling of the bond were and the attendance, and I don't believe we've received that. I'd like to reiterate that we want that, but also like to know who all was invited to be on that CBAC and how they were contacted and how many of them declined their invitations. And specifically, referring back to public comment tonight, why was Mr. Minson not on the committee? Because he was nominated by myself to be on the CBAC.
We're happy to provide that information to the board.
Any other future agenda items?
Are we going to bring up the Special Olympic facilities anymore?
We are, if you and I want to.
Special Olympics facility.
Yeah, I'd like to bring that up again.
I'd like to talk about the bullying committee.
Yeah.
Anti-bullying committee and Special Olympics updates. I'll provide those to you. The other thing the administration has is a proposal to move the November 6th meeting to November 13th and the December 4th meeting to December 11th due to conflicts. They're there on future board agenda item 3A and B. Y'all would double check and make sure your availability. We would recommend approval of that.
November 6th to the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need a motion?
Do we need a, yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do we need a motion?
It would be best.
The president can call the
Yes.
change the meetings.
Oh, we can't? I can't?
Yes,
Okay, then
do that.
we will change the meetings from November 6th to the 13th and December 4th to the 11th.
Thank you very much. With that, the next item up would be for closed meeting.
Okay. Where did we go? Oh, there we go. Okay, the board will now recess into a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act. .071, 072, 073, 074, 075, 076, 082, 083, 084, and 087. No action will be taken while the board is in closed session. And we'll go into closed session at 7:32. Okay, we will reconvene into open session at 8:30 p.m. I would like to revisit the future board meetings and tentatively add one to October 26th for a special meeting.
And can we be sure that's for the sole purpose of the superintendent's evaluation? Just saying, HR.
Don't be throwing nothing else on there. I don't care what Tiffany says.
Okay. All right.
All right, then administration will bring before the board for consideration of personnel. E1, approve the elections, and 2, accept the resignations and retirements as presented.
Elections as presented.
I second.
And resignations?
Okay. And resignations and retirements. I thought they were two separate things. So.
I second.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Barack Timms and a second by Mr. Martinez. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor, raise your hand. 6-4, 0 against. Motion passes. And I move that we adjourn this meeting at 8:31.
Almost.
Except for that long presentation.
We would have been out here